I'm Adam Janzi from Vola, the drummer, getting ready for soundcheck. Good to be here. I'm Adam Janzi from Vola, the drummer, getting ready for soundcheck. Might start out with my drum kit. Basically it's a pearl export kit, white, cool, flashy. I use Evans drum heads with a lot of blood on them. UV2 on the toms. HD dry on the snare. I have Promark sticks. They are not in the best shape. It's the fire grain ones. They're pretty cool. 5B. Of course, Mino cymbals, love them. All these nice stacks. On the bigger stages I usually have one of their new smack stacks as well. It's a bit tight, reduced it to this. We had a few shows where the stage was a bit bigger, where I could use a smack stack, so then I would have it here. One of the Mino's like newest series, CC Duo, kind of like a mix of two cymbals, and so I just got some of their cymbals and I created this little stack. China and then one bigger and one smaller splash upside down, and it's super like tight so it doesn't move a lot, and I use it a lot and that's my favorite at the moment. And I have this really nice sparkly pearl Virgil Donati signature snare. It's cool, and the pearl eliminator double pedals, and also the SPD SX that I use for all the electronic stuff. And the mics, I have no idea. That's Dennis.
Danish microphones.
Yeah.
DPA.
The lights, we have our own light setup, and it's a Danish company called Vertigo, and they pretty much made the lights themselves. Drum-wise, it's pretty basic, nothing crazy. I have a bunch of these stacks. Maybe that's the more adventurous part. No rack toms, just 4 toms. At least when I started with it was a nice challenge, and I like the feeling of having a tom on each side and not just being on the right side for that, so I can be more flexible. If you have rack toms here, they're pretty high up so they don't touch the bass drum, and then the cymbals will be even higher up and everything is just in the way, so it feels good to not have that. It's just nice to have a little cymbal forest and you can see people and see what's going on. Otherwise the cymbals would be my thing. And also ergonomically, to have to do this for the cymbals and like really chase the cymbals, it's not so nice. It's much easier to just have it right here in front of you. Now I've done it for a few years, so it's pretty comfortable to me now. Stripped down and easy to work with. It's not a big bordel. My favorite drummer is Lars Ulrich from Metallica, but my inspirations in general, when I started out to find my own sound, it was a lot of experimenting, and there a guy like Terry Bozzio really inspired me with, I don't know, just create unique sounds. But then from there it went more into artists who are not drummers and other people who are not musicians, because you can find a lot of inspiration outside of music. If you're just zoned in on drumming itself, it can get pretty narrow. Find inspiring people and go from there. Carl Sagan is a big one. You can always extract inspiration for your instrument from different people who don't deal with music. Christopher Hitchens, Richard Dawkins, a bunch of cool, inspiring people. I wanna turn the tide somehow. A lot of the time people just do music which is very complex for them to play, so they can barely even play it. They want to put as much stuff as possible into that music, while someone who just listens to music and enjoys music is gonna have a hard time grabbing a hold of that song unless you're a big prog enthusiast. But focused songwriting is really important, I think. I think that's where it falls for many people who get stuck in the prog world. You want to plan your tours and your shows around the new album, and when you release the music, you want it to be released well online, so you have your music videos and you want to get on Spotify playlists. You have this like a few months from when the album is finished to when it's released, where you plan all the marketing stuff. And it's not so different in this kind of genre. So me, I'm from Sweden, but the other guys are from Denmark. And I would say that I think their Danish origins have influenced the music. I know one of their big inspirations is a Danish band called Mew, dreamy rock kind of. For me, I think overall, Scandinavian, in general, the Scandinavian kind of mood has influenced the sound overall, as it has for most Scandinavian metal bands. So what I like to do is what we talked about earlier with the inspirations, is to also find inspirations from weird sources. Like there's for example, a group of women who like to play with their hands on water, create rhythm, baka women. Just stuff like that can be very inspiring, and then I like to take that into all those different kind of worlds and inspirations onto the drums. You cannot be too focused on the technical aspects of drumming. It has to more be like, okay, what does that feel like, or what does it sound like at its core? Is it dry? Is it wet? Is it something dark or uplifting, or does it create some tension? And then you just translate that onto this. So if you want something mechanical, dark and menacing, maybe you were inspired by the Terminator movies, and then you somehow try to create something on the drums which sounds mechanical and menacing. You don't necessarily like sample Terminator sounds. So it's just a way of translating different influences onto your instrument. You're looking for something dry sounding that sounds like you're running in the forest. Cool, then you know it's not a big crash, because that's not that kind of sound. Really dry closed hi-hat or a super dry stack played in a certain way can mimic that kind of feeling. Classic thing is the heartbeat sound played on a kick drum in the Massive Attack song, for example, Teardrop. There's so many ways to bring all those different influences into your instrument. You just have to be a bit creative with how you do it. In Straight Lines, after the first chorus, there is a nice groove and a fill just before the second verse. No, it varies depending on the song. Some songs, Asker, for example, the vocalist, will just bring an idea and already program drums, and then I just adapt to it and do my own thing with it. Other songs like 24 Light Years, it started out with the drums, where I just fooled around with some ideas and some feelings, and then I created that. But what I like to do sometimes to give this final touch is to kind of put the last words on what emotions I want to bring into it. So it's focused on the big picture of the song and not just cool drum fills or whatever.